It's a thirsty Thursday.
Five Valley locations. The fifth one just opened last month over in Deer Valley. We've been there quite a bit over the last 3-4 weeks, but we figured out we got to mix it up again. So here, Scottsdale this week, and then we'll be jumping around Glendale, Gamelback, and Tempe over the next few weeks. But we appreciate you hanging out with us for the next 3 hours. As I mentioned, this hour we will catch up with one Rick Horrow. We'll talk to him about the business side of sports, as the Big Ten fans are furious today and have been for the last couple days over over ex-commissioner Kevin Warren and his TV deal that's kind of going south. So we'll get into that a little bit later. It's also National Wine Day, so we're going to kind of educate some of you, specifically Manuch, who absolutely knows nothing about wine.
Know quite a bit about red wine.
But acts like he does.
Red wine, I'm a fine connoisseur.
Yeah, a connoisseur that goes to a barbecue in June and brings a box of wine.
It was damn good.
So we'll dive into that. We'll hopefully today may be the day that Jimmy B finally gets a W in quick draw Manuch.
Gets a breakthrough, Jimmy, up for it?
Breakthrough tonight.
I'm not banking on it.
And how late should you get to a party? That's a topic today. And I'm going to have some fun a little bit later with these old guys I do the show with every day, if they did any of these things growing up. Because if they did, it's going to tell you that you're old.
I'd be very curious.
So you're going to have fun, both of you two guys. Of course, D-backs, we're going to talk about them. They're off to a great start, as we know. Jody Jackson's going to join us today from Valley Sports. And, of course, Cardinals are still in the news with OTAs. And Howard Balzer will join us from GoPHNX.com. So looking forward to that. But I guess the main story is still the story. What are we, 12 days since Monty Williams, 12, 13 days since he has been canned. And now we're just kind of waiting to see who is going to take the lead and be the next head coach. Is it Doc Rivers? Is it Nick Nurse? Is it Frank Vogel they're interviewing today? Kevin Young, the former assistant coach for the last couple of years? Or Jordy Fernandez, the Kings assistant that's getting some momentum as of late? So those are some of the big topics, some things we'll get into over the course of the next few hours.
Well, Rock, all I can say is I'm just happy that you're here.
I'm only here on Thursday.
I know you are.
I'm not here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
I
you guys
know that.
just have to accept that.
It's very difficult.
And I
for
won't
me.
be here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm just not. That's why my name is on the marquee first.
Yes.
That's why
why I'm on last.
And that's kind of why that you guys get a paycheck every month.
Yeah.
It's because of yours truly.
Jimmy, you miss it, Rock?
So,
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Get used to it.
I was
Jimmy B.
I was missing his
Because
warm heart.
I still have all the old logos with, Roc and Manuch, Crespin, Roc and Manuch. We can bring those back real easy and take that deal off of your laptop. That is, by the way, whose laptop is that?
It would be yours,
yes,
boss.
okay.
Yes.
So what else? And it just, you got to answer that. Why are you, of all people?
Yeah.
Why are you drinking Red Bull?
Just because I was thirsty and I like the taste of it.
You know what it does to you, especially your size.
But I'm not putting on any weight.
No, it's going to make you jump around like no other.
Jimmy's little kick in the pants. Energy boost.
I know. Usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays you guys get to talk more because I'm not here. But now that I'm here, the last thing you need is Red Bull because you don't get any extra words when I'm here.
Jimmy's been on the Red Bull kick for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Jax is always on the Red Bull.
You know how bad that is for you?
I told him it
that
kills rats.
stuff is just awful.
I only drink like half of it. That's all. Tastes good.
What's the use?
I like the taste of it.
But does it give a little kick?
Here's the I don't think so. Here's the thing for me. Like if I go play golf on a hot day like today, all right, and I go into the bar afterwards, I order my Corona, I drink half of it because as soon as it starts to warm up, I'm done with beer and I go to a Coke.
Is that because you talk so much?
No.
When you're talking to your buddies, it takes you like an hour. Like you'd be a cheap date, right? Because you'd only be like a beer or two.
I am always the cheap date.
Are you? Okay.
Always. Yeah, so if you're asking me out, yeah, man.
No, I'm not. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But no, that's not going to happen. I did something today that I encourage everyone to do. A play lesson.
A play lesson.
Golf lesson.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Golf.
Okay.
I did 9 holes with my golf
with
pro.
the pro. Okay.
What a difference that makes. You get
Absolutely.
more out of that hour and a half
Yeah.
than I think I've gotten out of every single session I've had.
Instead of
And
just at the driving
what
range.
makes it even better
Yeah.
is when the student
No, you didn't.
outdrives the teacher.
Did you
The pro.
Did you outplay the pro, though?
The Michael Block version
Yes.
of Gainey Ranch.
Yeah.
So did you outscore the pro?
No, not even close.
Okay. Yeah, I tell you what, I had one play lesson with Steve Dalby many
How
years
long
ago.
is this going to be?
No, 10 minutes. Just enjoy the ride while you're here. 10 minutes basically helped my game immensely. Knocked 5 strokes off. Oh, yeah. Then you're tipping about my putting. You taught me way up there in the Flagstaff. And then with Dalby for a good 9 holes, awesome. Got my game
It's
down.
just amazing because no matter if you had a good shot or a bad shot, you're playing from there. And some rules. One rule that I think that the guys in my league or the guys in my club do not follow is the lost ball rule. So I had a lost ball today.
Okay.
I hit a great drive on a par 3.
Okay.
Or excuse me, a par 5.
Yeah.
And it was a great drive. I mean, it was my best drive of the day.
Okay.
275, whatever it was. But my second shot went right and got lost.
All right.
So I'm asking him, where do I drop? He goes, well, lost ball. You got to go back and tee up from that second shot. Most people don't do that.
No, they just.
And he got frustrated because I'm like, we never do that on Saturdays in the league. Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, because he goes, nobody knows the rules. No one follows the rules.
Was this par 3? Did you hit
No,
it right?
par 5.
All right.
Wow.
Also, though, aren't you kind of like required to keep moving? I mean, you want to
That's a
keep.
good
You
thing.
want to keep moving
Keep it
on
moving.
the
I
course.
would agree with that, but at
Okay,
the same
so-
time, I mean, there was nobody out there at 7 this morning.
Well,
but,
I understand.
I mean, but if you're lost ball, I've never done that.
Okay.
But if you find your ball, you get a drop. So if you find your ball, you get a drop. But if you don't find your ball, you gotta hit that second shot again.
Where's the drop? Is it where you
It's
found the ball?
where you originally hit your
Or
drive.
you go back to
You
where you
go
originally
back,
hit?
and that's to your point about time.
Yeah.
Wow. Excuse us. I've got to take a break here.
Yeah.
Wow, Andy Bayless, the person who kind of runs this place, is here.
Wow.
Twin Peaks is doing some painting, so the owner's out there painting the building right now. So excuse the mess. Excuse the mess.
So it's not like the good old Saturday where you just look, I'm going to drop, take a stroke.
That's what you would normally do, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that rule.
In order to keep it moving.
Did you know that rule?
No, I did not
I
realize it was that because you watch the pro TV that rarely where you can't find their ball.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I in mind, he's like,
Yeah.
I go, where do I drive? Oh, well, we need to go back to that drive.
Wow.
Fortunately, nobody out there on the course at 7
No,
or 8.
I didn't
Yeah.
go back, but I did.
See,
Whatever.
I never played. If I can't find the ball, I just drop.
And keep doing that, folks. If I'm behind you, just drop, take a stroke, and move on.
I don't want to wait. That's the only thing. That may be the golf rule, but as far as golf etiquette out on the course, you want to keep moving.
Yeah.
Just keep moving.
But anyway, sidetrack there. But one of the stories that we are following is the PGA Tour and the Charles Schwab Challenge, and how Michael Block is doing as
That's unbelievable!
Find new roads.
All right, you guys are hot.
Chevy dealer. Set up a test drive by heading to valleychevy.com. Now today's top plays on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Sorry about that little technical issue there just a moment again, so we apologize. But back, and as Mike Greenberg we used to say, back better than ever. Valley Chevy sounds of the night. Let's start with the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs as Florida punched their ticket as the Panthers swept Carolina thanks to former Coyote Keith Kachuk's son, Matthew. And we have both the TNT call and the radio call. So the first one we'll play is TNT, which is hear the TV call and the radio call. And Spence, we'll just play back to back. But these are great calls, and this is Matthew Kachuk's goal with just 5 seconds remaining in regulation, which won the game 4-3 for Florida.
Puck comes back out. Now Reinhardt with it. Down to 10 seconds. Maybe up and hit the post. Going back out and throwing it is Kachuk. He scores!
Out at the right point covering. 15 seconds in regulation. Kachuk, Reinhardt near circle. Reinhardt in the circle. Shot, and it's fought off by Anderson. Barkov right circle. Down to the goal line. Kachuk in front of shot. He scores! He scores! He scores! Matthew Kachuk, a power play goal! It's 4-3 Panthers with 4.3 seconds to go in regulation time. The Panthers take a 4-3 lead in the waning seconds. A power play goal for Matthew Kachuk, and the Panthers are 4.3 seconds away from an Eastern Conference championship and a trip to the Stanley Cup final. Can you believe it? When the chips are down, when the stakes are the highest, it's number 19 in red coming through.
Great call, WQAM. And one thing I want to point out, no need for a color analyst there. All you needed was the play-by-play.
That's correct.
Right? I mean, there's no need for a color analyst.
You let the play-by-play, let it marinate, let him do his thing, and then you come off the back afterwards all of a sudden and tell exactly what happened and why it happened.
You just heard it. You just heard what was happening. There's no need for color guy.
Any good color analyst will lay low, let the play-by-play guy do his thing, or the play-by-play guy just let the sound tell you what happened after a while there too. But it's always us to infuse that at the very end to tell what happened and how it happened.
So NHL playoffs, another sweep, which is it's unheard of. You don't see a lot of sweeps in hockey, which is just outstanding.
Let me just say this about Florida. Florida had the lowest point total of all of the teams that made the playoffs.
They're the last seed.
They were the last seed. They were down 3-1 to the best team that had the President's Cup, the most wins ever in an NHL season. The Boston Bruins, they trailed 3-1, came back from 3-1 and won that game, or won that series, and now they are rolling.
So Florida will battle either the Vegas Golden Knights, most likely, or the Dallas Stars in this year's Stanley Cup final as the Golden Knights lead the West final 3-0 right now. So go for a sweep tonight in Dallas. Game 4 in that one. D-backs were close to sweeping the Phillies, but Philly came back from 5 down thanks to this first cut. Trey Turner, and if you saw any of the news or Sports Center, as a Philly guy, and I get it, they booed the hell out of this guy. I mean, Trey Turner, paid him all that money.
Yep.
Hell of a player for the Dodgers. Now Philly, get him in the free agent, but it's just not been playing well. But he made up for it on this play last night.
And the pitch in the air to left field. Going back on it is Carroll. Back toward the wall. It is gone! The Phillies have just tied this game up. Trey Turner, a 2-run home run. Towering shot. It's a 5-5 game.
So Trey Turner, a 2-run game-tying home run. There was 2 outs in the ninth, made the score 5-5, courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. And then the walk-off single in the 10th as the Phillies take Game 3 of that 3-game series.
The bases are loaded. Infield is in. The pitch. In the air to right center field. This should do it. Smith going back to the track, over his head, and the Phillies have won the ball game. Dalton Guthrie crosses the plate. The Phillies down 5 runs at one point in this game have come all the way back as Alec Ball with his second career walk-off wins it in the 10th, 6-5.
You know, for the Philadelphia Phillies, they started off really bad last year. Of course, they fired their manager, and then they end up going to the World Series. But a game like that is what can really catapult a team, don't you think? But it's just a tough loss for Arizona, though. You give a 5 and
a hard loss. I mean, you win 4, even though you win the series. That's tough. Up 5, and then you're up by 2 with 2 outs to go. And Ruiz basically throws Turner a home run high fastball right at the chest. He just ran into it, crushed it. And then you get Leonard second in the bottom of the 10th. You get a couple walks, and then that base hit. They're playing in game, set, match. So the day off just to kind of lick your wounds for the D-backs, even though you're still 8 games of 500, that still hurts to the point of, you know what? We let one get away.
They did.
And you just can't let those kind of games get away. And I think, quite frankly, the bullpen will probably be something there they're going to have to take a hard look at. I want to say there's close to 10 to 12 games now where this team is at blown saves, and they're still 1.5 games back of the Dodgers. Just think if you had half of those back, you might be 2 or 3 games up in the National League West. So, again, the bullpen implodes on this Diamondback team.
I have nothing negative to say about the D-backs right now.
I don't either, but I'm just saying.
This bullpen is not nearly as bad as it was last year.
No, it's not.
No, they were awful last year.
But there's something you got to take a look at. It is with Ruiz and some of these guys coming in, you got to make sure your closer, your guys nail something like that down when you're up by 2. So, yeah, they're 8 games up from 500. That's great. After 50 games, and somebody said, hey, the D-backs will be up by 8 games, 1.5 back of the Dodgers, you take it.
Yeah, and those of you that took the under on the overall wins, you're going to lose that bet right now, it looks like. Off the wall cut. Kyrie Irving is a free agent this offseason. And I really hope that this organization, the Suns organization, has no interest at all. I can't imagine Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
I would second that motion, Ron.
I can't stand this guy. I mean, he's
hell of a basketball player.
Yeah, but it's not worth it. I mean, I'm not going to use the C word in the locker room, but he kind of is. I mean, he
high maintenance.
Yeah,
he's high maintenance.
He's an disturber.
Very good.
Yeah,
and it's just not. And he's going to be a free agent. He's upset because are on his Instagram page, Twitter page, just going crazy about free agency, and he wants to be left alone. And here he is, and Spence, I hope you did this.
Yeah.
So here is Kyler pleading to his fan base to leave him alone.
Stop mentioning me on Twitters. All y'all fan base, stop mentioning me right now, please. It is still the Western Conference and Eastern Conference final. Denver's going to the finals. We're still waiting for Boston and Miami. Can y'all please leave me out of this? Please, can I just be with my family in peace? Y'all got people at my dinner table discussing what I see all y'all ads. I see all y'all mentions. Okay, I said it. I see all y'all stuff y'all be saying. I see all y'all families. I get it. I'm good. Like the love is already there, right? The message is spread. I appreciate your ancestral run. Thank you for being tapped in. And I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. But please, all y'all fan bases, stop mentioning me just for the next month or 2 or 3. Whenever I make my decisions, please stop mentioning me.
So 2 things for you, Kyrie.
What the hell?
1, shut the you-know-what
up.
Yep.
And the fact that you went on record and asked the fan base to stop makes me want to just freaking go on my Twitter and Instagram page and bug the hell out of them every single day as much as possible. And
if you don't like it, get off Twitter.
I was just going to say.
That was my second. Yeah. My second was
get off Twitter.
Get off social.
Don't read your tweet.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty easy.
I mean, people are going to speculate all they want, so you don't want them to speculate now.
3 minutes.
Why is it bothering you? This is the first time I've seen a free agent athlete ever, any sport, go off on his fans about, well, leave me alone and let me figure out my whole scenario. Well, they're your fans. They like you to come here, they like you to come there, and I'm like, if you don't like it, then leave. Get off, and move on.
Hey, we're giving you a chance to win a 75-inch smart TV from our friends at Valley Chevy dealers of Arizona. All you got to do is text Chevy to 59925. That's Chevy to 59925. You can enter once a day. Standard message and data rates apply. Again, all the details can be found on our website at rockandmanuch.com. Again, 75-inch smart TV. Just text Chevy to 59925. So those are your sounds of the night. It's getting a little slower, man. I'm really struggling to find stuff, Manuch.
Well, you're probably going to have good stuff for tomorrow with the NBA game and the NHL game.
It's over.
What's over?
What's over?
What's over?
2 minutes. NBA, it's over.
No, it's not over. We got another 3 months of NBA finals. You kidding me? If you see
like 7 days.
If Miami and the Celtics go 7 games, that's another 3 weeks.
Do you think they're
going to the NBA finals?
You think it's not over tonight?
I would hope it's over. I'm pulling for the Heat.
No, I want Boston to win. Then I want Miami to close it back in.
You want the 7 games?
I want 6. 6.
So, yeah, because
Boston is home.
Yeah.
Got to tell you what, it's
6 games.
It lingers. I mean, we'll be going NBA talk till probably end of June as far as it's concerned. So
well, you still have the coaching search.
Exactly. Well, that could happen anytime soon. I think within the week. I think, quite frankly, that Matt Ishbia probably makes a move here relatively before the next week or so to kind of get into a situation where he has that team and before they get things going from that particular standpoint.
So that's all I got. Coming up, Big Ten fans are furious with ex-commissioner Kevin Warren, who's now with the Chicago Bears, and the NFL owners, with the Thursday night football flex rule, or vote, I should say, they're still generating some strong reactions. We'll catch up with the sports professor, Rick Horrow, who will join us next as we continue on from Twin Peaks in Scottsdale on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Time to talk about the business side of sports. Leading expert in the business of sports. Author of the new bestseller, The Sport Business Handbook. Host of Power of Sports and architect of over 100 deals worth billions in sports. The sports professor, Rick Horton,
You guys are hot.
joins Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910.
Rick Horton joins us now on the Right to It guest science. We're coming to you from one of his favorite places when he's in the Valley, of course, Twin Peaks. He's a fan of the Camelback location, but we're at Scottsdale today, and he joins us now on Fox Sports 910. How are we making out today, Rick? What's going on?
How far is the Camelback Peak from the Scottsdale Peak?
20 miles, give or take.
No. So the peaks are spread out all over the valley, I know.
In many ways, yes.
How did I know that was coming?
I'm just excited about taking advantage of those peaks. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
I have an apology to make. I have you on speaker. We're going through a rip-roaring tropical thunderstorm here, and Duke's a little nervous, so he wants. Have you ever had a 60-pound mammal of any kind in your lap? Don't answer that. But I decided to put you on speaker. So you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. You sound fine. My dog's 60 pounds as well, and if there's a storm, he's right. Same thing, man. Dogs can't stand that weather, man. That's just you feel bad. There's nothing you can do. They just shake. You're like trying to hold them. It's tough.
Well, and they don't know what's going on. They don't know that the worst that happened is that I've got to reset all my clocks and ovens and stuff. They think that the hell is breaking loose.
Rick, I just assumed that you living in Jupiter with all those celebrities, all those golfers, that you guys have some dome over that area, so nothing affects you guys, because that's the highest rent district there in Florida.
Well, it is, and it keeps getting better. And frankly, it's like everybody's been asking me media-wise the last couple of days how I feel about Mahomes, saying Burrow ought to get more money and everybody should get more money at the quarterback position. Hey, it's like the same thing here on my real estate street. If I see Koepka get a couple extra $1 million on his house because everybody wants to kind of be in the house that had the PGA champion, I'm all for it. My house automatically is worth $2 extra $1 million. So yeah, sure. I love it.
Well, I hope that I've never been allowed in Jupiter, so I'm hoping one day we'll be allowed to maybe take a road show there in Jupiter and do it from your balcony or something. That'd be kind of fun.
Well, I will tell you this. Now, give me an idea when you're coming, so I can bolster the police protection and the electric fence.
Hey, there's a point of contention among Big Ten fans that are upset with former Commissioner Kevin Warner's failure to fully negotiate that Big Ten deal with all the networks. I'm seeing that parts of the $7 billion media rights deal is still up in the air. Will this work itself out, or the new Big Ten commissioner's got a lot of work ahead to get this fixed?
Listen, Tony Petiti is an ace. Known him for a long time from CBS and the Baseball Network, and he comes from TV. Kevin comes from a team presidency and going to stadium stuff. And, I'm not sure what all the facts are relative to an early departure. Everybody kind of knew that Kevin was going to leave. I think it was April 24th, and everybody kind of had a 6-month notice on that. That's how they got Tony, and they gave him enough time. And so, he didn't bolt in the dead of night. But all the TV negotiations will be finished. Because, listen, as we know, the Big Ten negotiation is the biggest number. They've got the most leverage, and they'll get the deal done.
In reference to getting deals done and value, I'm just interested in your thoughts on Michael Block last week, finished in 15, and in the ride he's on currently, as of today's +3 on the tournament. But talk about it. Is that a shot in the arm for golf? I mean, we're all watching on Thursday. to see how this young man does. But from the exponential side, as far as value, advertising, and all the above, what percentage of value is his worth gone up this last week?
Oh, a lot. He'll be looking for national endorsement stuff. You know, what I was told, what I read was that his club pro salary was $280,000 plus commission, and you know he'll get more than that as a social influencer if he wants to do that. And there is some discussion about Liv wanting to snap him up. I'm not sure that would be a good idea, but you know, listen, it's part of the conversation. And so, at the end of the day, this is one of those things where a star is born, and because of that, you know, he's humble. He hits the ball amazingly. He's not full of himself. 2 out of 3 for me. I don't hit the ball that well, but I'm humble and certainly full of myself.
Hey, I want to get your thoughts on the Thursday night flex plan talk, and it sounds like there's some media members out there that really think this is a straight up greed on Roger Goodell and all this good stuff, or bad stuff, whatever you want to call it. I think it's safe to say, the NFL doesn't want 2, 4, and 10 teams, playing on a Thursday night. But what is this all about? Why do you think there's so many people that are against the flex if they decide to flex out 20 plus days? Isn't that enough time for the fan?
Well, those are people who are against anything. I mean, I don't. If you're not playing well, my candid answer is you deserve to be flexed out.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
The only issue that really would bother me is that the fans who get the schedule on May 11 and plan their life around the away schedule of their favorite team. Well, that 28-day issue is a definite. It was spoke right to them, saying it's not perfect, but we'll give you time to change plans. And you shouldn't be mad at us as the NFL. You should be mad at your team that sucks and is getting flexed out.
I'm real curious because there's been talk from football circles saying that even though they put in that rule, they really don't expect to flex hardly any games, maybe one, and that's about it that they were talking about this coming season. Have you heard any insight into that?
No, I've heard a lot of discussion about how this gives every owner flexibility, which is how Roger sold it. And the flexibility may mean they'll use it a lot and may mean they won't. I think they're going to reserve judgment until, October, November, and see which teams deserve to be flexed or not. You can schedule the Thursday night, Sunday night games, and Monday night games to the best of your ability in May, but we know a lot of teams who are Super Bowl contenders in May and suck in November. So you got to preserve the flexibility, and I don't think it would be good for the league if they came in and said we just passed this rule, but we're never going to use it.
Rick, coming close to home here with the Coyotes after last week's vote getting shot down in Tempe. It's been reported the Coyotes have several sites, and some have set up to 12 sites that they're looking at throughout the Metroplex here in Phoenix, whether it be Scottsdale, Chandler. It's mostly East Valley. So what will be the process to try to find an in-city site, per se, for the Yotes? Is there – they're putting feelers out there as far as fans, where should we go, what should we do? So where do they go from here? What's kind of the if you pull the curtain back, what's step 1 through step 10 to try to establish a new site?
Well, if I were running this process and I knew that we had just lost a referendum that was destined for success, the first thing I would do is to get off the ground quickly and make it look like nothing's happened, meaning let's look at a process to look at sites. The sites, I guarantee you, will include whatever public commitment any individual cities want to come to the table on now with. And, they're prepared, I think, to spend a little more out of pocket than they would have otherwise. Always, however, there is this specter that it's not fair to the rest of the league if you are at the bottom of revenue. Any team that comes in, those are going to produce 30% of the revenue as any other market. Now, does that mean Houston, Kansas City? We all know these are. That's and he's been a friend of yours. He's been a friend of the Valley.
Yep.
You better give that guy a gold star, because if that team ends up leaving, it's not because of anything Gary did. I can guarantee you that. He stuck with this even longer than he stuck with Atlanta. And, there comes a time where enough is enough. I don't know when that time is yet, by the way, but there will be a time.
All right, take me then to the Pac-12. Recent reports, apparently Larry Scott, the former commissioner, walked away with lots of millions of dollars and put the Pac-12 in deep six as far as money in the hole. And now you have the president at Washington State saying, hey, nobody can do anything. They have
2 minutes
hold on everything. Can't hire anybody, can't fund anything. Other schools are tightening their belt straps. They say that it is all due to the uncertainty of the TV contract. Have you heard anything?
Well, yeah, I've heard the last piece. I know Larry Scott from Harvard days. I know Larry Scott from the WTA days. And, Larry Scott is not to blame. If you want to blame him, you can blame him partially. You can blame everybody. You blame USC and UCLA for stepping away. And if I were running that conference, I'd be very careful about my funds too, until I knew what the TV dollars were going to generate. As to what they're going to generate, nobody knows. That's the biggest uncertainty that Ray Anderson and every other AD in the Pac-12 can see. When's it going to be resolved? I don't know. Ask Ray.
1 minute.
Rick, I want to squeeze in one more. It looks as though Max Kellerman's show, This Just In, is going to get canceled, and they're going to replace it with the Pat McAfee show. Pat McAfee, it's a massive contract that is being rumored that he's going to get or is already getting. I'm curious. The show he has now, where he has 2 million subscribers, he's having all the success. He has creative control, and for somebody like yourself who has creative control in your television shows, if Pat doesn't have that, he's not going to have success, is he, at ESPN?
Well, no, but they're two differences. He's earned it because he's got social media emphasis beyond what everybody's thought. I earned mine because I say whatever I want. Nobody cares and nobody listens. So there's two different.
Come on.
Two different kinds of control. Seriously, whether they decide to replace him or not, meaning Max Kellerman, I get it. Pat McAfee is a tremendous personality.
Yeah,
and he speaks his mind. He's guys like Scott Burrell and guys who are brilliant and just let him go. He reminds me a little bit of Robin Williams. Just let him go.
Sure.
And if you pay for that, the risk is you better be on that 7-second delay button, but let him go.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up next for Rick Horrow?
Well, first I got to see what the NBA and NHL final schedules are, because unlike you guys, I can stay here and I can watch a couple of sports finals for many games.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to play around it. I'll end up in LA for the U.S. Open golf. Maybe I'll stop in Phoenix and check and see how you losers are doing. But
okay, great.
Over the next week or so, I am here, excited about my Heat and my Panthers.
He's Rick Horrow, live from Jupiter, Florida. Thanks, Rick. We'll talk to you next week. Appreciate it. The Sports Professor.
Talk to you later.
You got Rick Horrow joining. Follow him on Twitter at Rick Horrow. Coming up, it's National Wine Day and wine specials here at Twin Peaks at all 5 Valley locations. But if you did a blind test, do you think you could tell the difference between a cheap bottle of wine and a really good bottle of wine? Or in Manuch's case, a box of wine? That's next. It's Twin Peaks Thursday. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
The iHeartRadio app.
Sir Charles likes to take it, like coast to coast.
And not only did he take it coast to coast,
You guys are hot.
finish with a beautiful crossover move.
That was awesome. Charles Barkley, unbelievable with the Suns.
1993.
Yep.
Thought that was the year.
I
guys.
moved here
Thought that
with
was
Charles.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah, I moved here with Charles.
Yeah, you were.
He came to see me at Hornacek. He said, "Hey, you want to stay at my place?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go to Philly." He took my place in Philly, and I took a ride
You
over
guys
here
have
with
been
Charles.
tight ever since,
Being
right?
a big, round mound and rebound.
That's it.
Charles Barkley with Philadelphia 76ers. But on this day, man, the Suns 62-20 for that 92-93 season. He averaged just close to 26 points, 12 boards, 5 assists in 76 games. What a hell of a year. What a great trade that was.
That was awesome.
Just the dominance that he had, night in and night out. Played with the 76 games. He wasn't doing any load management in those days. None of those guys were, unless they were hurt. Unless KJ had another quad injury somewhere.
Here's a quick Charles Barkley story from that trade. So the Suns were on TV after the trade was done. Charles, and they were playing a home game. Charles had just flown into town the day of that game and walks out at halftime to wave to everybody, and the place just exploded. I was watching it on television at that time. It was nuts, just nuts.
So I had just moved there, and like 6 months after I moved here, I took a job as a bartender in the Copper Club. The Copper Club was the suite level at America West Arena.
Okay.
So that was the first year when they played the Bulls in the finals,
Yes.
and I remember that was such a treat to be able to be working there as a bartender in a place like that. And this city was so small then. 92, 93, what we had?
Maybe,
$1.5 million?
Maybe $1.5 million, maybe two.
Yeah,
Maybe two.
Maybe now close to 7 or
Yeah,
whatever it may
whatever.
be. So anyway, as we continue on this day, 88 years ago, 1935, a 21-year-old sophomore from Ohio State by the name of Jesse Owens sets 4 world records in the 45 minutes at the Big Ten Track and Field Championships in Ann Arbor at Michigan. So here's how it all went down. At 3:15 Eastern, he ran the 100 yards in 9.4, tying the world record. And then 10 minutes later, he did the long jump once and broke the world record at 26 feet 2 1/8 with a leap of 26 feet 8 inches. And then 10 minutes after that, he ran the 220 in 20.3 seconds, breaking a world record of 20.6 seconds. That stood for 9 years. And then at 4 o'clock, he runs the 20-yard low hurdles at 22.6, breaking the world record of 23 seconds. That stood for 11 years.
And talk about being way ahead of your time.
He was.
45 minutes, he breaks 4 records.
That's incredible. You imagine if he was alive and competing now, he'd be a multi-millionaire with all the endorsements and track. Think of track and field at not only Olympias, but they had those professional. Remember the old professional track leagues they had in the late 60s. He'd been making a killing as well as that too.
And also on this day, Babe Ruth hits his 714th home run, his final home run of his career. He did it with the Boston Braves in a game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. It was his 3rd home run in that game. Of course, that record stood for quite a long time, almost 40 years, until Hank Aaron hit 715 on April 8th, 1974. And then Barry Steroid Bonds broke that record on August 7th, 2007.
So,
that record is at 762.
So did Babe? So hits his final. Did he play out the rest of the season? Then with the Braves, that was his last home run because you're thinking he slid 3 months to go. Didn't hit any more dingers after that was concerned.
Apparently not. If that was
Unless
it.
he was just kind of part-time guy at that particular point in time.
For Hank?
No, for Babe Ruth.
I told you that was his last game.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah,
but he hit 3.
Yeah, in this
Well,
last
He
game.
hit 3 in his last. I mean, how crazy is that?
The other guy that I could think of hit a home run in his last game was Ted Williams. His last game,
Mhm.
he went, I think, 4 for 4. He hit a home run in his last game. I mean, where did he go out? When you think
So-
about that.
Did you throw a pick in your last game?
Let me think about that.
3 minutes.
Or did you run out of bounds?
Let me see.
Come on, you cannot
It's
not
interesting.
know that because you know every pass you threw
Yeah.
in the National Football League, in the Canadian Football League, and in the USFL. You know every single play you were in. At
You know
least
what's
that's
interesting,
what you
Rock?
say.
You know what's interesting? My last pass in the National Football League in '87 in the replacement games was at the end of the first half was a Hail Mary. We call Big Ben. So I launched that bad boy up to about 70 yards, and it's
70 yards. Come on.
All right, 72 yards.
Yeah.
And
45 yards.
as a matter of fact, it
was a screen pass.
it did.
Big Ben Manuch, throw that screen.
No, but that one got picked, but I did throw a couple more in the last game against the 6-3 victory over the Giants.
I'm asking about your last game, not some Big Ben Hail Mary.
No, the second to last game, I threw a pick, and then that last game.
I'm asking about your last game.
No, did not throw a pick in my last game. Did not.
So what was your last play?
Last play in the National Football League was, I think it was a handoff. That was it against the Giants. Or I held for the game-winning field goal against the New York Giants in overtime. So we beat them 6-3.
So that would be a better story. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just tell us that? Because we can't fact check it, so we will have to believe it.
Well, you can go into the footage of me holding for the kicker.
Yeah, we can't find it. We have no footage. I'm at the end of the internet. I have not found any footage of you holding. It's just your word against everybody else.
It's interesting. Somebody actually had a photo of that. You
can doctor photos all day long. I need footage.
So, I guess my last play was holding an extra point for the field goal kick. We beat the Giants 6-3 in the replacement game. And they had everybody and their mother crossing that picket line, that being the Giants.
Not everybody, dude.
Lawrence Taylor was right there about 3 feet from me.
Not everybody.
Yeah, they're pretty much almost their entire team crossed the picket line. Bill Parcells was the head coach, and we still beat them 6-3 in overtime. Barn burner in Buffalo.
We're a little tight on time, so I didn't get to our story about National Wine Day, so we'll try to squeeze that in a little bit later because I did want to get into that. But I do want to mention that, and I'm pretty excited about this, Kraft. I'm a Manuch, I love cheese, right? I love Kraft. I like slices. They're changing, finally, the clear wrapper of the singles. They're going to add a texture on the flap so that your fingers can feel where the opening is. And it'll open it so much.
Hallelujah.
Yes. It's like, why did it take so long? Sometimes you can't open it, and you're just like, screw it. And you throw it away because you can't open it. Hour number 2 is coming up. We're live from Twin Peaks in Scottsdale. Fox Sports 910.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
For your Thursday, look for mostly sunny skies. Temperatures right around 98 degrees. For tonight, though, mostly clear and breezy. Some of those wind speeds could be as high as 15 to 20 miles an hour for tonight. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
The Dell Technologies Summer Sale event starts now with savings on select Vostro and Latitude PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, save on select monitors and accessories and get free shipping on everything. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
That didn't take long.
Hell no, man.
For the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no
You guys are hot
in the valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
No coach. No head coach yet.
Not yet?
No. Really? There isn't a top story today. I don't have one. You have one?
I was just going to.
I don't think there is one.
You don't.
I don't think there is anything that warrants a top story today.
You don't think the Suns interviewing a couple coaches?
We knew that.
Top story?
We knew they were interviewing. How's it a top story?
Well, it's today.
No, but it's been all week that these names have been up.
Yeah.
You know, I just wish they just I mean, I've been saying since the get-go, Nurse is the guy I like to see, but who knows if that'll be the case. But let's just
all right, let's have that discussion then real quick, okay?
Go ahead.
All right, because I've done a little research.
You turned on your computer?
I did, yeah.
God forbid, Jimmy.
Well, actually, I didn't. The guy sitting next to me on the bar stool last night was able to figure it out and turn it on for me.
Okay.
So, essentially, Fernandez is getting a lot of looks, not just from the Suns, but from other teams that are searching for coaches.
And he is interviewing today with the Suns.
That's
right. Fernandez is in today, and Vogel will be in tomorrow.
Yes, that is correct. So, this guy in Fernandez really has, from what I am told from some people, a very high basketball IQ.
Yep.
He is one of the reasons why the Kings offense developed the way that it did throughout the season, and he was instrumental in putting that offensive set together. So from that standpoint, I have interest now in Jordi Fernandez just because of how he was able to take those guys and take them from a bottom feeder last year to where they ended up this past season in the West.
I think they call him like the offensive coordinator for the Sacramento Kings.
Exactly.
Which is interesting with a lot of these NBA teams. They got the defensive guy, they got the offensive guy, and you can see like Kevin Young.
Uh-huh.
You know, when the Suns are running their defense, he's up and kind of directing traffic, if you will, and Monty's directing the offense. So it's gotten that specialized to that point. And they had a hell of a year. First time
they had a great year.
17 years they went to the NBA, went to the playoffs.
But if you're Nick Nurse, who seems to be the hottest commodity right now around the league, he's on the final three for the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the final list for the Bucks.
Sure.
He's most likely a final on the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
So he can pick and choose. So of those three, Suns, Bucks, and Sixers, what's the better job? What's the best job? What's going to get you to the championship first? I don't think it's Phoenix.
I was going to say it would be Milwaukee because you still have Giannis, you still have Middleton, you still have Lopez, still have Bobby Portis coming off the bench. I mean, they're
cut off, the most wins in the regular season.
Yes.
Championship 2 years ago.
Yes.
Or do you want to deal with Philadelphia with Harden and Embiid?
That's blowing up. That's blowing up.
It could, why would you want that?
Yeah.
I think a couple of things with Vogel. I agree with you. I think Milwaukee would be the odds on. But again, lifestyle, where do you want to live in the meantime? Do you want to live in Milwaukee, live in Phoenix? Go back and forth. Or Philadelphia.
Another name that's been real popular, with at least in Philadelphia, is Mike D'Antoni.
Mm-hmm.
that hasn't been mentioned here. I mean, we've seen that, done that. Even though I enjoyed that style of basketball, it was a fun team when he was here.
Yeah, but you got to have the dudes in order to have that kind of team. Q Richardson hoisting from everywhere. You had Steve Nash and Amari and Sean Mary. I mean, you had the team that they built to his philosophy.
The mix of that team with all those players
was perfect. Yeah. Yes. Now I don't know if D'Antoni. I mean, he might say, okay, if I come to coach, I need this, this, and this, and does ownership do that?
Well, every coach wants this, and this if they're going to come in. But
if you want to have success, if I want to be successful, I'm not going to go take something that. I mean, I'm not going to go get in a race if all of a sudden I got to drive a Saturn around the racetrack. Everybody else got Ferraris.
But Manuch, all three of these teams made the playoffs.
Yeah, I know they have.
You can't use an analogy because all these teams are right there. They're Mercedes.
They made the playoffs, but if I'm going to go somewhere, Mike, in a long, long career that Mike D'Antoni's had, he's probably at the point now. Okay, if I go somewhere, I want to make sure I have all the pieces to win it all.
You're going to tell me that these three teams don't have the pieces right now?
No, they do.
They all do. So all these jobs work.
But to his kind of philosophy of getting running and gunning up and down.
He could work with all of them.
Well, I don't
with Booker and KD, yes.
But you still got to have some defense in there. And of all these, the 5 candidates for the Suns that you notice that are up on the short list, it's the common denominator. They all talk about the defense. Each coach has had that specifics in there, like Doc and Vogel and Nick Nurse. And Kevin Young understands it, but I'm just saying that's a piece of their offensive their philosophy is they've all been on the encouraging side of defense.
It's interesting that in Milwaukee the 3 finalists there. So in Philly the final 4, or excuse me, the final 6 is Nick Nurse, Mike D'Antoni, Monty Williams, Budenholzer, Vogel, and Sam Cassell.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So those are all Philly.
Yes,
and then Milwaukee's down to 3.
Right.
And those 3 are Nurse, Golden State associate head coach Kenny Atkinson, and then Toronto's assistant Adrian Griffin. So those are those 3, at least according to this report that I have in front of me. So I don't know where Kevin Young fits in. I don't know where Jordy Fernandez fits in, if they do it any of the other teams that are out there. But those are some of the short lists that at least being reported, and who knows, somebody else could come out of the woodwork we're not talking about.
And Detroit, Monty's turned down Detroit as of now. He just felt that wasn't, again, his fit for him, and where he could probably sit back if he wants to go coach another team, okay, with the short list, or he can sit back and wait a year. But he has officially turned down Detroit as of now.
Here's another thing. I'm a little bit surprised, but maybe they did talk to him and felt that he wasn't a good fit in Phoenix, why Kenny Atkinson wasn't getting some play with the Suns as well. Being an assistant with Steve Kerr, running that offense, that quick passing, high pick and roll offense that they run, I would have thought that he would have been a guy that would have been high on their list, but apparently not.
And been there and done that. He's won a few titles with those guys there.
He's got championships.
As just a fan and a talk show host, right? I think Doc Rivers would be great. I love Doc.
I do too. He is a good dude.
And he's the winningest coach of all those. I mean, he's one of the winningest coaches in the history of the game.
But he gets the bad rap because of his record.
Game 7.
In closeout games.
Yeah.
But, Rock, you know this better than anybody being a Philly guy. They had a chance to eliminate Boston. It was a closeout game in Game 6 on Philly's home court, and his players played dreadful. And then when they had to go back to Game 7, Boston knocks them out. So they fired Doc, and once again, the scenario is, okay, look at Doc's record and close out games in Game 7.
Well, and the one reason all the pundits out there talked about Doc is that he didn't make the adjustments he had to make in those closeout games, and that was even kind of whispered throughout the locker room. Some of the players,
a little bit,
were saying they didn't make the adjustment they thought they should have made, and Doc not make them. So that might be another rap on him as well too in the end games.
What we're seeing too is the NBA. You need a head coach that has a good relationship in the locker room, and that it's not the stars that are running the locker room. It still needs to be the head coach.
Right.
I think Monty lost his relationship with DeAndre Hayton. I think that played into this big time. Yes. DeAndre, you needed him to step up, and he has the game. I just don't think Monty was able to get it out of him.
I think the other thing too that really bothered some of the guys is when who was the forward that sat out forever before he finally got traded last year with the Suns?
Dario Saric?
No, not Sarge. He started last year at the power forward at the number 4.
Kaminsky?
I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, remember he was on the team.
I'll think about it.
He was on the team.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was on the team, and he was sat there. They finally traded him halfway through the year. I'm drawing a blank on
Crowder?
Crowder, yeah, Jay Crowder.
Oh,
he was part of the team.
Oh, you mean this year? You said last year.
Yeah,
that's what threw me off.
Yeah,
Crowder.
But
Crowder wasn't. He was a bad locker room.
I said he was a starter last year's team that sat out this year.
Oh, all right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But now, but a lot of the guys didn't feel that way. They felt that Jay Crowder, here's a guy that he worked hard at this. Now he might have popped off, and he came to find later his comments were misconstrued or misunderstood, whatever that means. But I think that didn't sit well when they felt they had a guy that's a solid player, was part of the championship run for a couple of years. So when you talk about a coach and having a little bit of it against a player, and then you got there's two guys that for whatever money or management shown with Crowder, it didn't sit well, and that seemed to kind of blow up mystery that was there during that NFL run. I mean, it was all just disparaged at that point.
We're going to keep Jody Jackson in about a half hour. Talk sacks with her. We can, of course, get tons with her. We could talk about a lot of stuff. But our State 48 roofing question, your call question of the day. Choices are on our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. 1, a stronger bullpen. 2, another power bat. 3, another top rotation arm. Or 4, avoiding a major slump. So stronger bullpen, power back, another arm, or major slump. Those are your 4 choices. Go vote on our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. And as always, for a free quote, we need some repair on that roof. Get it repaired before the monsoon season gets here, because it's going to be here before you know it. Head to state48roofing.com and follow them on social media. Search hashtag sexy roof status. But coming up, Jimmy B. This is more on Jimmy B.
Yeah, it is.
Pressure's on, Jimmy.
The return of the quick draw Manuch. And the big question is, can Jimmy B finally get a win? Better yet, get more than 2. Get more than 2 right. It's only 7 questions. You only need to get 4, and you can win, Jimmy.
Uh-huh.
So if you win today, Jimmy,
yes,
you're going to get a $50 Twin Peaks main card. If you win.
If I win.
If not, we'll just hold on to this gift card.
Well, you give him the day off tomorrow too if he wins.
Yeah, and that too. Yeah, you're like all the millennials. You'll give you a day off.
Okay. Well, I'm in that.
Give you a day off.
I'm in that millennial category.
I
qualify.
You do qualify.
You're in that centennial category where you're at.
Hey, I do let you the top stories of the day are brought to you by the CAC Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. You can watch all the Major League Baseball games there, the NBA and NHL playoffs, the finals. They got all the games, the big screens, and they got the sportsbook, and it's the home of the Roc and Manuch Lager by Huss Brewing. So check that out. They got big projector screens, 46 4K flat screens, and as I mentioned, the sportsbook with the self-service kiosk. So that's the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. So Quick Draw Manuch is next, followed by Jody Jackson from Valley Sports as we continue on from the Twin Peaks in Scottsdale. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. It's Fox Sports 910.
DirecTV agrees to deal.
You guys are hot.
All right, quick draw, Manuch, as we have Jackson Spence going to run the show here as they will give us a question, and we have to answer with the first letter of that they tell us. So that will be how it all works. It's best of 7, and the most creative answer, but more importantly, how quick you get the answer in, too. So it's a combination of being quick and creativity. So, Jax, let's just give us a rundown. We've been doing this for a little while. We took a little bit of a break. We kind of brought it back. And what are the standings today?
We just took a 2-week break, Rock, because you were gone. We said we went a little, something was kind of, we expanded our horizon a little bit. But that's okay.
You guys could do that on Tuesdays or Wednesdays when I'm not here.
Yeah, so I was getting a bunch of
How's Rock doing?
I was getting a bunch of emails and stuff, people complaining that Rock was beating Jimmy B and Manuch so bad. So we had to reset the standings.
What?
We did this last week. You don't remember. Short-term memory. But anyways, you are up 1-0 on these guys. So 1-0-0 because you were up by like 7.
Okay.
And people out there want to see more competitive radio.
He was up by 7?
Oh, he was up by a lot. I can go back to the files down here.
7-1, 7-2.
Yeah, he was on fire.
He was up 7-3-1.
I had 3. At least I had 3 I know of.
So this is like season 2 of
season 2.
Yeah. So,
2.0.
So okay, this is the second week. All right.
So the best out of 3 seasons, maybe there, Jack?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we'll wrap it up in the winter. But all right, I'll start us off, and then Spencer will go right after me. We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
Jimmy B, remember, it's quick. Draw, quick, quick.
And the rules still apply. You say your name first, and then Jack has to call on you before you answer.
Okay.
All right, so the D1 Men's Golf Tournament Championship is this weekend, and I would like for you guys to name a college that's participating in this tournament whose letter college starts with the letter C.
Manuch. Jimmy.
Manuch.
California.
No.
No.
They're not in it.
That's in it.
Oh, man. God, I looked at that the other day.
It'll be at Greyhawk this weekend.
Yes, I know.
It's going on right now.
Yeah, I know where they're playing. Yeah.
The division.
Rock. Cal Poly. Oh, they're not. They do D1 in golf?
No.
Golf, you don't know. All right, Jimmy.
Man, oh,
Hints.
man, oh,
The
man.
state.
No hints.
Okay.
No hints.
No hints. Man,
God, Jimmy, you have an opportunity right now.
I know I do to really
get on the board first.
Yes, which would be shocking.
Yes, it would. That's why you have an opportunity here. There's what?
Jimmy B.
300.
Jimmy B.
Cumberland.
No. Hints.
Cumberland?
Cumberland.
It's not even a college. It's a community college in South Jersey.
Hint. This state is one of the 4 corner states.
Colorado.
There we go. Manuch's on the board. One.
No. No one gets an answer. 0. Because nobody got it. You can't give a second chance.
Whoa. He's the judge. You said
No. I'm the boss. It's my game. I created
You
it.
take your ball and go home now?
You want me to go back to doing it? Or I'm the judge and I'm everything.
All right, no one gets a point.
Oh.
They're wondering.
You get second chance. Are you a kid?
Colorado State, and Chattanooga.
This
weekend. All right, Spencer, you got the second question.
I love the intensity out of the gate so far.
Yeah.
This is good.
Focus.
All right. Name a reason to procrastinate that starts with the letter D.
Ooh.
Manuch. Rock.
Manuch first.
Driving.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
All right, drunk.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy, you
got one?
Dumping.
Dumping, what's that mean?
You got to give your name first, Jimmy.
Like, Jimmy B. Dumping. You're on the toilet. Dumping.
Seriously?
All right. I
All
procrastinate.
right, Spencer,
about
which
that.
one do you like?
Manuch got in first with a reasonable answer, so we'll go with Manuch.
Okay. Appreciate that.
All right. All right. Name a female name that starts with the letter V.
Manuch. Rock.
Manuch.
Vicky.
Jimmy B.
Rock.
Jimmy B.
I said Rock after him.
Vera.
Vera. I thought it reset after each one.
Yeah.
No, if he says Manuch, Rock, Jimmy, That's you got to go in that order.
No, a couple weeks ago I said that, and you guys said it resets every time.
It never reset.
Whoa!
Change the rules.
No,
Whoa!
He's got a call on you.
But if you said Manuch and you said Manuch,
Vicky.
Yeah, and then but I had said Rock right after you. He should have went to me.
I got in trouble for this a few months ago, but we'll reset. We'll do that. Okay.
Rock, Valerie.
Jimmy B. Vera, my mom's name.
Vera?
Vera.
How do you spell it, Jimmy?
Vera.
I hope you
Great
got that one
name.
right.
Vera Jehoshaphat.
Vera.
Wow.
Well, quick draw. I'm going to go Manuch
Thank
once
you so
again.
much.
No, come
with
on,
2
Vera's
points.
not- Vicky, everybody has.
Who got it
Vicky.
first, Jimmy?
Vera's unique.
A quick draw Manuch.
Jeez, this sucks.
Key term quick.
All right, now I'll toss it to Spencer.
All right, here we go. Number 4 here. Name something found in the kitchen starting with the letter C.
Manuch.
Rock. I heard Manuch.
Ketchup.
Really?
That starts with a K.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Ketchup.
Wow. That was really
My bad.
can opener.
Jimmy B.
Okay.
Cup.
We'll go with Rock.
Ketchup. Really, Manuch.
Ketchup.
And you know what busts Jimmy's chops?
And you know what it
Well,
is?
K-State,
It's at K-State.
Yeah, it's
K-State.
K-State math. That's with a
That's
C.
it, yeah.
2-1.
Wow.
Manuch has 2. Rock has 1. Jimmy B 0. Come on, Jimmy.
God.
All right. Name something you do on an off day of today's show of radio that starts with the letter E.
Manuch.
Manuch.
Exercise.
Exercise. It's a good one.
Man, oh man. It starts E. Oh,
Rock. Entertain.
oh, that was good. Jimmy B.
Jimmy B.
Effortless. In other words, I'm taking a nap. Effortless.
I'm going to go Manuch here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
3-1-0. Back to Spencer.
All right, number 6 here. Name an animal with a tail starting with the letter R.
Jimmy B.
Rock.
Jimmy.
Did I get in right away?
Jimmy, you were the first one.
Rabbit.
Okay. I think I heard Rock next.
I had rabbit as well.
An animal.
I'll just say rat. I'll say
Okay,
rat.
that's good. Yeah.
That's a rodent.
It's an animal.
Manuch.
Manuch.
Oh man.
Very late and slow. Manuch.
I'm going.
It's hard to beat rabbit.
Yeah,
it is hard to beat rabbit.
Or rat. All right.
All right, Jimmy B gets the 1 point there. We got 2 more. Actually, we got 1 more question left. If Jimmy gets it, then we would go 7 because you guys didn't get the first question.
Yep.
So name a word to describe this show that starts with the letter L.
Manuch.
Manuch.
Loquaciousness.
Rock.
Loquaciousness.
3 minutes.
Jimmy B. Losers.
I'm going to go laughable.
Dude, you may not be on the show.
No.
If that's what you think the show is, then you don't want to be part of it then.
I'm going to go laughable on that one.
We're very loquacious in our comments. You go laughing.
You can't even spell that.
Yes, you can. Loquaciousness.
You couldn't even say it at first.
Loquaciousness.
Okay, so a quick audible because we had 7 questions, but you guys didn't get the first one, so I'm currently looking up one. I'll go to Spencer if he has one. Spencer, do you have a question? Or I can
Unfortunately, I do not have one right off
All
the
right,
bat.
let's do name an animal that starts with the letter C.
Manuch.
Rock.
Manuch.
Cat.
Rock.
Cheetah.
Ooh.
Quick.
Bigger than the cat. I
Much
like
bigger.
that. Yeah.
2 minutes.
2-minute cue here. Let's see. What do I have? What was it again?
Spencer, don't even say anything, Jimmy.
C.
Rock gets a point. We're going to sudden death. 3-3.
Oh, so does he sit out there?
Quick.
Jimmy sits out. Yeah.
Sit out.
Oh, yeah. Wait. It was quick. I got cat. You guys
Cheetah was very out of the blue.
Oh my gosh.
Cheetah's great.
Remember creativity.
I got
Such a
hey,
C is
All
fine.
right. Name an NBA player whose first name starts with the letter K.
Oh, I can't.
Manuch.
Calvin Martin.
Really?
1 minute. 1 minute.
All right, Rock. Kobe Bryant.
And with that, he wins again. I don't even know who Kelvin is.
Yeah, I don't either. Who is he?
He played for many years.
Yeah, in the ABA?
No,
I mean, come on.
I know who he is.
Calvin Martin.
Yes, but Kobe is the
Game and a half back from the Dodgers through the first 50 games. We're going to catch up the pre and post game host for Valley Sports. Our friend Jody Jackson will join us next to talk everything D-backs as we are broadcasting live from the Twin Peaks in Scottsdale. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports 910.
And a compact ready for anything build. Sometimes exceptional is the rule. The Mercedes-Benz GLA, member of the unrivaled SUV family. Learn more at MBUSA.com.
It's a Twin Peaks Thursday. Back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Broadcasting live from one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app.
Reaches out and lines it to center. Fletcher's got it! Dominic Fletcher.
You guys are hot.
Right there. And we hit down the rookie center fielder with a sliding grab in center.
Dominic Fletcher having a great season. He's played all 3 outfield positions. You heard him there saving the game the other night and just continues to be hot at the bat, batting .320, having a great year. There's so many players to talk about. It's been so much fun to watch, and we're fortunate enough to catch our next guest who does the pre and post for Valley Sports. Just watch all the D-back games, and she joins us on the Right to It guest line. Jody, Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Great. How much fun is this year? Did you have any idea in your crystal ball that this team would come out and have so much success to start the season?
Not quite this much, I don't think. Being, 29 and I guess 21 after yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday's still processing, but, I thought they had a chance to be in contention for, a wild card bid or even, just in general, a little bit back at the top of the NL West instead of the bottom. But I guess, just seeing it sustained now through May is great. I kind of thought after the great April, a lot of people forget they were pretty good in April of 2021 before they ended up losing 102 games. So you're kind of like, okay, I just want to see another month here. And, they're sustaining it. And there's really a lot of the young guys that we saw at the end of last year coming up. Some other guys like Dominic Fletcher. He's cooled down at the plate a little bit, but you could see that, he's another guy that is going to be part of this team going forward, that's for sure. And then the pitching has held up, and I give a lot of credit to the young guys. They went through some bumps. William Wilson, Tommy Henry, Brandon Stott really had a struggle in his first couple outings, and they've been a little bit better this last time around. They've been getting into the sixth inning, and that's what needs to happen for this team to have success. So I'm excited for sure. It's been a lot of fun. The guys it's a great group. They get along. I know people talk about that a lot, but it really does mean something, that they all pull for each other, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Jeff, bring up a good point. Mike Hazen did an interview yesterday on the MLB Network, and he discussed that they all play together, they work hard, they play hard every single game, and 1 through 9 that lineup, they're all working their butts off. You just wonder, can this continue? It seems like every day, we talk about another win or a series win, but we're like, all right, let's give it to the All-Star break. Let's give it to the All-Star break. And I'm hoping that we can stop saying that and just say, hey, we got a team here, and they're coming together, and they've come together. I just hope that they can stay together. And you're around these guys. Are they like that outside? Outside locker room, talking to you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these guys are. It's an interesting group because you do have some guys that have, Evan Longoria is a guy that's like, been a great player in this league for a really long time. And then you've got a couple others that have kind of not come up with the group, right? Like Christian Walker, Rojas came up with a different group. But a lot of them, really the majority of them have all come up together. And so when you see Brendan Stott at Tom Manley just like sitting in a locker and talking and, talking about the good, the bad, everything, or just being humans, I mean, they all know each other from the minor leagues and all of that. And it is special when that happens. And then you add in the other guys who have already had their bright spots, right? Like Ketel Marte and like I said, Rojas and Walker and Ahmed. What you see is a group that they needed this infusion of youth, and they needed this infusion of talent to kind of make it all work. When those guys were asked to carry the load kind of all by themselves, it was too much, and it's too much to ask maybe Ketel Marte, okay, you're going to carry the offense, right? So now you see Corbin Carroll, being that cog in the offense that can do that, along with Gurriel Jr. And so again, you mentioned Mike Hazen in the interview. I mean, give him a lot of credit. He pulled the trigger on that trade that was looking really good right now.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Dalton Varsho, but just the way Gurriel is hitting, the way that Moreno's been hitting, and then doing the catching and all of those things. So everyone's kind of living up to the expectation right now, for the most part. I mean, it's baseball. You're going to have your bumps. Yesterday was kind of a weird day. I knew going in, my first question to Tori in the morning was kind of like, I know you probably don't lose the ball, who's not available to pitch, but what are your thoughts on who's not, what are your thoughts on the bullpen today? So I was like, you don't have your regular guys. You got to rest them. And he said flat out, I know the fans don't understand, but I have to be the parent. Mm-hmm. I have to be the one to pull people back. And unfortunately, it did burn them. I mean, yes, I think they could have managed fine, maybe without those guys, but they didn't. There was a pitch to Trey Turner, changed the game. So, you live and die with those things, and those things happen. But when I look at it, I kind of look at the big picture, which is like, wow, they still need to get the bullpen's been kind of riding a fine line this whole trip. And when those guys were in there, they did the job, and it didn't always come easily. but they were getting it done. So I kind of look at it the other way, like, well, you have these other games where it could have gone the other way on them, and it didn't. So spoken like a person who sees a lot of baseball, right?
Yeah, and Jody, it's interesting. We talked last year about when would anybody on that team ever hit above the Mendoza line. It seemed like it took them forever. Well, this year, you look at the team batting average, and you got Christian Walker. You talked about Marte. Guys seem to be getting it a little. You mentioned that could be pushing for Rookie of the Year if he keeps it up. And then Zach Allen, potential Cy Young awardee. So early on, you got guys that are on the national stage with their numbers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Manuch is looking like an all-star season right now. It's getting put together. Still got to go another, month here. And then Corbin Carroll is just very talented in all areas, I mean, there's a guy, and I think that's the cool when you saw so many guys hitting 2-something, under 250, or, a lot of these guys that they're bringing up, they have tools where if they flunk, it's not going to be for long. It's just not part of their game. You know what I mean? They find a way to put the ball in play, and that's a really sustainable way to put together an offense. And so, the other day when I was in the pregame in Philly, I was Gonzo. Gonzo was sitting next to me, and I just looked down the line in that particular lineup. They had 5 guys hitting over 300.
Yes.
And they had 7 guys hitting over 270. So most of the guys are hitting above 270. You've got some guys off the charts, like Rivera, Perdomo. I know Rivera hasn't played as much, but Rivera is a nice piece. Perdomo, Carroll. Walker has dipped a little bit, but you know what? The home run threat is always there. That's big. I mean, there's so many guys that can get the job done. And that's why, Alex Thomas and Jay McCarthy, even though they bring so many other, Jake McCarthy diving for balls in, what city were we in? St. Louis, I think. The defense those guys bring, the base running is great, but they're not on the team right now because they weren't hitting. And you don't want to have that hole in the lineup. And that's, Nick Ahmed yesterday had a tough day. I mean, it's a hard business, because Perdomo's been doing so well. I think they'll sprinkle Nick in, of course, but Perdomo looks like he's the guy that's grabbing a hold of that job right now. So he's got a lot of competition. Everybody's playing for each other. And hopefully it's going to equal something special by the end of September.
Jody Jackson is our guest. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910 on the right Toyota guest line. Jody, you've been watching every game, and it went from a team that was a kind of punch and Judy team early. In other words, they were slapping the ball into open places, getting guys on base, and then stealing bases. And then in the last month, maybe month and a half, it's turned into, I don't want to say a power hitting team, but they have indeed started to strike the long ball with a lot more home runs. Watching watching the way this is transitioned, how did that take place? Or did guys just get hot at the right time?
Yeah, and Jimmy B, that's a great observation, because I think that was the lineup they were looking at, especially against right-handers, right? You have all these lefties.
3 minutes.
Alex Thomas, Jake McCarthy, you have Steve Carroll, and kind of the regular, and Perdomo's hitting both. But, it was that lineup of feasters. Bob Burnley calls them jackrabbits, whatever you want to call them. And they were, what a great mix for, like, at the plate and in the outfield. But then, right, those guys weren't hitting. McCarthy and Thomas go down. Carroll gets injured with the knee where he can't run. I just think they started playing those other guys more, and that's what's so impressive. They just played Lourdes Gurriel Jr. more, and he started hitting. And not that he wasn't hitting in the beginning, but he was thriving, right? And then Christian Walker went on a home run tear. So I think it's just a case of, like, when you ask how, it's just like these guys were on the roster for a reason, and then when they have their name called a little bit more, like, okay, you're going to play 5 games now this week instead of 4 or 3. And Walker plays every day, obviously, but
2 minutes.
I mean, they were ready to step in, and then they're just hitting. So it's a matter of, like, it's baseball. It's hard to explain sometimes, but they're also pretty good hitters. Mm-hmm. So again, I look at the roster and say, people might look and say, well, you're not paying anyone $300 million like you're paying like these other teams, but that just tells you why I don't, I don't really whine about not having those $300 million guys because I just watched Trey Turner get booed. I mean, yes, he did have
crazy.
I mean, he got booed for 2 days. And the top of their lineup had the on-base percentage. The top 2 guys had the second worst on-base percentage in the league next to Kansas City. So baseball's a funny game. Juan Soto with the Padres, I know he's seen now, but it's so ebb and flow, and it's so cyclical, and it's not really slump-proof. And some of these guys go into slumps, and I'd almost rather have a nice balanced lineup. And yes, it takes the research, it takes all the work that the front office does to find those guys.
1 minute.
Magic. I mean, then you have one of these teams that, has the manageable payroll, and still can get it done, like we've seen in the past with, many years ago, the A's or even the Brewers or whoever you want to talk about. But, I mean, I think it is a credit to this team that they just have guys that can play these roles, and then when they're called upon, and they've changed more of that, and you're right when you say not power, it's more like it's a bit of power, but it's doubles, it's line drives, and you still have Corbin Carroll now. He's still stealing, other guys that can steal. You can kind of do a little bit of everything, right? So I think if that continues, they're going to be in really shape.
Jody, you're going to need earplugs this week this weekend with all those Red Sox fans. So good luck. We're worried about your safety, because they're going to be out there. So be careful.
I have a little bit of a day off tomorrow, and then it's on Fox on Saturday, I believe. And then Sunday, I'll be back there. So, it's going to be a big Red Sox crowd.
Yeah.
But the D-back fans hopefully will come out in some numbers as well.
Absolutely.
And we're going to see this team. Everywhere we go, I will say, every city we go to, Philadelphia was stunned. I mean, even yesterday, the D-backs had jumped on them in the first 3 innings. And these guys were coming up to me like, man, your team, they just don't go away. They're relentless. And I'm like, yeah.
They're fun to watch.
Maybe that'll happen with the Red Sox, too. We'll see, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we love to get the series. Just keep winning series. It's all they need to do. Jody, great work as always. Thanks for the time, too. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Great to talk to you guys.
Jody Jackson, Valley Sports, pre and post. She'll be back on the air on Sunday. And hopefully all the assholes will be out of town by then.
The getaway day?
Yeah, there's a guy here at Twin Peaks that wants to talk to us. And he's got a New England Patriots shirt on. And I just, I keep, every time he comes on, I act like I'm on the air. I still don't have to talk
We noticed, Rob.
Yeah.
We noticed.
Hey, Jody Jackson today is brought to you by All City Towing. All City Towing continues to grow. They got a new fleet. Yeah, they've added a bunch of vehicles, trucks, tow trucks, and they need to add people. Yes, they are hiring. And you can head to allcitytowing.com, search careers, and you can see all the benefits, everything that they have to offer at that website. That's the best way to do it. So just apply at allcitytowing.com and just search careers. It's time for this week's Twin Peaks picks. We'll take the fifth caller at 602-660-9191. The Twin Peaks Challenge. She'll compete against one of the young ladies here at Twin Peaks Scott for our $25 man card. The games today will Heat at Celtics, and then the Golden Knights at the Star, and that's tonight. Isn't that tonight? And then Red Sox and D-backs for Toronto. So those are your three games to pick. Again, the fifth caller at 626-09191. Our Twin Peaks picks change on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy.
Since tomorrow's to Twin Peaks Thursday. Back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
You guys are hot.
Casting live from one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks on Fox Sports 10 and the iHeartRadio app.
To Twin Peaks. Cheeks is it? Cheeks.
I'm doing fantastic.
That's
Oh, you know it.
Oh. You give that incredible hospitality. It's underway in 10 minutes.
Yep, 10 minutes, 3 to 6.
3 to 6. And then reverse happy hour still going on?
Yeah, I believe that is 10 to midnight.
10 to close?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, we have 3 games, and you're competing against Kevin in Tempe. Kevin's got his picks are in. So let's start with the first one. Game 5 of the NBA Finals, or close to the Finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, with the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. The game is in Boston. The series is 3-1 Miami.
Okay.
But it's in Boston. Best of 7. Who do you like?
I'm going to go with Miami.
Go with Miami to kind of close it out and be done. I think Mitch and I are both on the same page there. Spence, what's Kevin going with?
Kevin is not on the same page. He thinks Boston stays alive on the home floor.
Cheeks, Boston's his favorite city that he likes to visit.
Yeah, I've never been. Purposely. Anyway, he goes to Mexico. He can't go through Tucson. Yeah, the same thing. Boston. I never go to Boston. Literally, I'm supposed to fly out of the country, and I'm supposed to fly out of Boston, but I decided I'm going to fly out of New York instead, just so I don't get stuck in that place.
The game Las Vegas Golden Knights and the National Hockey League up to Dallas Stars in tonight's game on the ice. So which one are you looking at this one?
The Dallas Stars.
Home game.
Yeah. I'm a Texas girl.
So Cowboys or Texans?
Texans.
Okay. Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a true Texan if you root against the Dallas Cowboys?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's Kevin got there, Spence? Who's he picking?
Kevin's going for the sweep. He's picking Vegas to upset Dallas again on home ice.
All right. And then let's finish off with the D-backs. They'll be hosting their homestand with the first team in town will be the Boston Red Sox. It's amazing all the people that came out of woodwork when they won their first World Series or first one since 1804, whatever it was. All right, who do you like?
I am also going to go with the D-backs.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that.
I'm a Texas girl and an Arizona girl, so.
Okay. All right, so Spence?
Hey, Kevin's also a hometown guy. He's going to keep that D-backs magic rolling. He's picking Arizona.
Okay, Arizona, good stuff. So, all right, so Cheeks, good job as always. I think you're like 10-1. I think your record is. So you've had a lot of success here. That's not good for Kevin, but we'll see. We'll let the games play out, and if Kevin gets more wins than Cheeks, going to win a $25 Twin Peaks man card here from the Scottsdale location. So, Cheeks, thank you so much. I'll let you get back to work, so appreciate you making some time. It is National Wine Day here at Twin Peaks. If you're passionate about vino, ask a Twin Peaks girl for the bottles and glasses at every one of the 5 locations here in the Valley. And on Memorial Day on Monday, they are proud to serve those who serve us today and every day. If you have someone you wish to honor this Memorial Day, come by Twin Peaks for something refreshing. So that is all here at Twin Peaks. We do want to give you a chance if you are a homebody like Manuch and you like to just watch
3 minutes
games on television, but you need a new TV, a bigger TV. We want to give you an opportunity to win a 75-inch smart TV from our friends at the Valley Chevy dealers. They want to give you a chance to win one right now. All you got to do is text Chevy to 59925. That's Chevy to 59925. You can enter once a day. Standard message and data rates apply. And more details, if you need them, are at rockandmanuch.com. Again, win yourself a 75-inch smart TV. Text Chevy to 59925 or give it away next week That's right, next week. As we're going to do this like 4 times a year with Valley Chevy. Speaking of promotions, got another promotion is going to launch in June. It's going to be. It just came today. I bought it. It is. You know how we gave away the 5,000 game arcade?
Yes. I remember that.
But it was a sit down.
Yes.
And it also turned into one that's
2 minutes.
Well, the technology is come so far that now they have it in like a mobile unit that you just hook it up to your 75-inch TV.
Wow.
And it's got a full console. Is that what they call that in games?
Uh-huh.
Is that yeah. So it just came today. I haven't opened it. It's really kick-ass, and we're going to use that as a gift with Toyota, right? Toyota. So we'll be doing another Texan win with them.
Talk about not leaving your couch. You go through all those games. You sit there forever.
Yeah, like, Galaga and Space Invaders and Robotron and, all the great games that you, at least in our demographic, watch.
Centipede?
Centipede would be on that. Yeah, I used to like Centipede,
Yeah.
Let me kind of squeeze something in here if I can find before we got to go to break, because I thought this was a good story that I'm anxious to see what you two older gentlemen would think is appropriate.
Okay.
But let me just find it. I got a lot of notes here.
1 minute. 1 minute.
That's a good thing with that whole thing. Older, wiser. It's like, speaking of wine, we're like a fine wine, Jimmy. Since it's wine day today.
I don't have enough time, but I want you to think about this. This will be our top story to get the 3 o'clock hour going. All right. How late should you get to a party? Many of you may be having a Memorial Day barbecue and, come over at 4 o'clock. What time should you really get there? Because I think it's a big debate, and I have a theory that I think may work in perfectly. So we'll have that for you next. We're also going to kind of give you our choice or choices of who we feel would be the best head coach for the Phoenix Suns, as we have it down to 5. We have our 5. And we'll have some fun with that coming up in hour number 3. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
On your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching.
You guys are hot.
No better place in the valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, coming up, we'll discuss who we feel would be the right choice for the Suns and their next head coach. So we hope to get into that as the Suns have a couple more interviews set up, as there's multiple reports that they're interviewing or already have interviewed today. Kings associate head coach Jordy Fernandez, and then tomorrow Frank Vogel, the former Lakers coach, will be in town. The Athletic is reporting that Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers, and Kevin Young are also on that list and one of the finalists for the job. But a lot of jobs open right now, a lot of pretty good jobs.
Yep.
So we'll dive into that in just a little bit. But we are out here at Twin Peaks in Scottsdale. The Twin Peaks Lodge, your action-packed adventure, always starts here. They got the friendly waitresses, the ice-cold beers, HD TVs everywhere, and Scratch Kitchen. And they're open late. Happy hour is available to you right now at all 5 locations. If you did not know, they got a fifth new location, which is at Deer Valley, which is the 101 and the 17, 31st Avenue, the old Claim Jumper.
Yeah.
Great place. I mean, it's so big.
It's monstrous.
But it's not like you walk in and you think it's like too big. You know, I mean,
It's
they have
packed.
2 bars.
It's packed.
Yeah,
all the time.
they're
killing it.
They're killing it. Yeah.
They are.
So before we were going to break, I kind of wanted to go off script.
Okay.
And
Imagine that.
Memorial Day weekend. Many of you, half day tomorrow. Getting out of town for the weekend, but parties. Everyone shows up late to party. The only question is, what's the right amount of late?
Of lateness at a party?
Yes. What is late? What do you think is the right amount?
All right, I have a question. Okay, define party. Is it like just the barbecue with your friends and family? Or is it a party that?
No, I know where you're going. I think
nightclub?
that is, you really improved the program with that, because there's the dinner parties.
Yeah, sure.
Right, that you don't want to be late because the advertisers are coming out. Okay, let's just say it is just a regular barbecue.
A barbecue.
Let's go barbecue.
Okay.
Memorial Day barbecue.
Do you get penalized for showing up early?
I host a lot of get-togethers.
Right,
okay,
right.
I mean, you've been to all of them, right?
Yes.
You're invited to every one.
Oh,
of them.
yeah, absolutely.
So
bring the wine. Not me.
I'm being facetious.
I know. The 4th of July barbecue.
And you were at my 50th.
Yes,
I think you were at my 40th. No, you weren't at my 40th.
No, I was out of town.
So I got my 55th coming up next month. Yeah, you guys will be invited today, but unfortunately, my 55th, it's going to fall at the party's on a Friday.
Oh,
and
you get the day off?
No. You guys are going to do the show at Tavern Grill.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm doing a golf tournament, and then it's going to go into a afternoon happy hour while you guys are on the air. And I'll be there too, because you'll want to bring me on. After 10 fireballs. I plan on a lot of birdies.
There you go.
Birdie juice, right?
Birdie juice.
But if you want to just have Jax hold it out, him and Spence could do the show.
Yeah, they could.
And you guys could be, if you want to be part of the golf tour. I would love to see you come out of retirement, Manuch.
Oh, man.
Or why don't you just be the cart guy?
I could do that.
Cruise around.
Could be the greeter.
Yeah, I got a golf cart you can use.
Yep.
I bought your dad's golf cart. By the way, I haven't told you yet. I don't know why I'm saying this on the air, but we haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
Because you sold me broken goods. So I buy this golf cart from him and his dad. Okay, got a good deal.
Yeah,
got a heavy in it.
Then I had to invest $1,200
in the battery.
Just in the battery.
Oh,
yes.
sure.
Then I put the batteries in. Doesn't start.
Oh God!
So it's been at the shop for 2 months now?
Oh no! About 2 months since you bought it.
And I don't even know why I bought it because I have nowhere to put it. I don't know where to drive it. I mean, I could be at the club, but it's no advantage to have a golf cart at a club.
The Manucci charity case.
So right now, so you don't know this because I didn't tell you. I was going to surprise you, but since the cat is out of the bag, or what is it?
Cat's out of the bag.
Yep. It's getting pimped out. It's going to be a Roc and Manuch Jimmy B golf cart.
Check it out.
It's got the blue.
Nice.
It's being repainted blue.
Oh man!
The rims and the seats and So
I'll drive that bad boy around.
Yeah. So my tax people know it's under marketing, right? All right. Let's get back to the party roll. All right. So I have an actual answer, but what do you guys think the number is?
I'm going to say no more than a half hour, no more than 30 minutes. If it's a barbecue, no more than 30 minutes.
This is the barbecue, you're saying, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
The barbecue.
Okay.
For the barbecue, no more than 15 minutes.
Jax?
I'm going to say hour.
Wow.
I think hour leeway, it's fine.
Wow. What the hell are you waiting for?
Yeah.
So we have an actual answer from a political reporter from D.C.
Wow.
Who came up with it. It's called the 38-minute rule. So he tries to show up exactly 38 minutes late to parties because that's a sweet spot. It usually means you won't be the first one there, Manuch.
Right.
But won't come in awkwardly, after things get rolling.
Sure.
Now, at a dinner party, you don't want to be too late because you want to pick a seat and all that. So basically, it works. Yeah. But if you want to kind of fine-tune your lateness even more than that, there's a math guy, Daniel Bliss from the Atlantic, who came up with a formula to determine the exact time you should show up with a party. Now, I didn't want to even go to the website and figure out because there's all these factors, like 7 factors that go into this with a perfect arrival time and all this kind of stuff. But, I literally will have parties and say, 7 o'clock when, because I know people, I have those, like Jimmy Keeler, if you're listening, he comes at 7 o'clock, or he comes early. Okay. Or my buddy Tom, he comes early.
Okay.
It's the most frustrating thing.
I'm not ready yet.
So, I kind of plan it that way because knowing that, I need to be ready.
Extra time.
I need that hour.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to come early to a party. Ever.
No, I agree.
It sucks.
Yes.
We got to get like my parents. I think it's an older generation. Oh, you got to be. It says 4 o'clock. I got to come at 4 o'clock.
No way.
No, 4:30.
No.
It's a reason.
You need that extra half hour, something for a little leeway, make sure things properly done, whatever.
Just like when you go to church. I want to be late.
Yeah.
So I can sit in the back and I can leave early.
There you go.
Because there's no seats available if you come late.
Well,
you have to stand in the back. You get out early.
Yeah. So you want Father to recognize you when you come in.
Hey,
I'm here.
Father Eric.
Yeah. Over St. Pat's.
Now, see, if it's a bar party, that's different.
What do you mean a bar party?
Like, let's say a bunch of guys are going to get together.
Christmas party.
There is no time, dude. We say, we'll meet at Twin Peaks.
There you go.
Hey, we'll meet at. I always say, all right, meet you at 4-ish.
Yes.
5-ish.
Yes.
Doesn't matter at a party like that.
Exactly, because I would come late because the party really doesn't begin until
you
show
get there.
up.
I knew you were going to go.
So you're fashionably late all the time, Jimmy?
Absolutely.
Well, there's an oxymoron. Fashionably late,
That would
right
be
there.
But I think 38 is that works.
38 minutes.
38 rule.
Yeah.
38-minute rule. And another thing, guys. How do you go to someone's house and not bring anything?
Absolutely.
Always.
You host something at your home.
Yeah.
And you spend all this money on food and alcohol. And, I'm not going to say his name on here because he listens a lot. And he used to come to my house, bring like a 12-pack of like some import. Like, or some craft beer like Huss, right?
Okay.
Bring it. Scotch Blanc, he's bringing that in, right? And then when he leaves, He takes it with him. Like if he's got a 12-pack and he drank 8 of them, he's taking the 4 with him. How do you not just donate it to the cause?
Yeah, to the party.
Or his wife comes. Yeah, they come with that, and then they drink other people's stuff. That's wrong.
So if you bring it, you leave it. That's it. That's just the rule.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad they're even.
Yeah.
Or just call. Hey, ice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like people just don't get.
The rest of that box of wine I left for that party was it had to be.
It went right in that dumpster.
My question:
3 minutes.
Did friend drink other drinks that were donated to that party?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have the drinks.
You have to, no matter what.
Yeah.
But I do think typically everybody comes with a cooler, like a big Yeti cooler or whatever.
Yeah.
And everything's in there, and when they come, they drink what they drink, and then they leave. And I think that's okay. That's okay. You leave what you came with.
Sure.
If it's your cooler.
It's your own beverage, yeah.
But if you're starting to, steal some of the other people's stuff,
or you're at the bar mixing your own stuff, and you bring this, you don't take that home. You don't never.
No, I got another guy who comes, and he's a big, vodka drinker.
I think you need to change
No, they milk you.
That's the thing.
It's like, Rock's having the party, let's do it right. I'm like, well,
let's go milk Rock.
And if they don't bring anything, you're just kind of looking at them like,
so know what I did do one time?
How you doing?
2 minutes. So my one buddy is a big Tito's guy, right?
Okay.
So he likes vodka soda or whatever.
Yep.
You know what that is, Manuch?
Yes,
Yeah. So Tito's is pretty
Had
popular
one
vodka.
once. Yeah.
So what I did is I finished the Tito bottle and I put in like fake, like a no brand,
Sure,
a well vodka.
Right.
I put it in the Tito's, and whenever he would come up to because I have the bar in the house, he would come up and he's like, "Yeah, can I get another Tito's or something?" Yeah, whatever you do, buddy. Hey, Gene, here you go. And he had no clue.
You blended it.
Because he never brings anything.
No.
He never brings anything.
Yeah,
it's annoying as hell. I'm sorry, Mom, because I'm going to a party on Sunday. I'm like, and it's just, come on. How do you not bring anything?
The only thing you take home is if people offer you to take whatever, all that food that's left over.
Yeah, take it. I'm not going to eat all that.
Yeah, take it.
Take some of that
those,
with you.
Yeah, take all that, this or that. That's the only, and it's only if it's offered by the host of the party. Hey,
correct.
We're not going to eat all that. You want to take some of that? Let's take some of that. But never the alcohol.
1 minute.
You go to a lot of parties, Manuch. Are you getting invited?
Back in the day. Back
Not
in the
now?
Day. Oh, well, it's kind of a homebody now.
Manuch don't go anywhere.
Yeah,
That's why I don't even invite him because I know he won't come.
it depends on.
The only good thing is, he'll leave at like 9, so he won't stay late.
If I had a party right now, I would invite Jimmy B just to see what he'd bring to the party.
Damn.
Or what he'd wear.
Yeah, that too.
What he'd wear to the party.
Well, it depends what kind of party it is.
What kind of parties do you go to, or you are you're a little out there being from the Northwest, so you tree hugger. I don't know what kind of parties you coming in. You coming with a bong that's taller than you?
You're just telling me I'm bark sniffer? Is that what you're telling me?
Is that what they call it?
Bark sniffer.
Bark sniffer, not tree.
No, tree hugger is still there.
All right, I don't know if you're allowed to say that on the radio, but we just did, so I don't know.
Bark
sniffer. But so anyway, that was not one of the top stories of the day. But how late should you get to a party? But
people
exactly
think about
38 minutes.
Okay.
I think that's true. 38-minute rule.
Yep. I always figure more than 30. 30 at that point. You be respectful to the host, with the party. You don't want to be showing up late barbecue,
And one thing I've gotten really good is I'm really good at ghosting my exit. Because you never want to say goodbye because, have one more, and if you're, trying to be responsible.
Well, that's true.
Or Uber. The Uber driver showed up. I forgot. I didn't mean to hit send. He's here. I gotta go. Yeah.
All right, folks. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, it's like 11. Dude, I don't go there. Dude, I went to the Dead concert. The other night Tuesday. I didn't get home until 12:30. I was a wreck yesterday, and I wasn't really even drinking. The beers at the Talking Street Pavilion were like
a mile high.
2 Dos Equis. $32.
Oh, sure. How about the secondhand smoke? Did that get to it all?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it did get to me.
If you're going to go to the Dead concert, you're going to get a nose.
You're talking to somebody who has his own municipal card, so I know what that stuff is. But
you had no hangover the next morning.
No, I wasn't hungover at all.
Yeah.
But you just move it slit. And the whole point of it's a long day. You know,
Yeah, sure it is.
You guys know after 50. I mean, you can't rally.
Yeah, that's all you. If you try to rally, it's like you're done the next.
Why do you think I drank that Red Bull?
So you went a little deep last night. There you go, Jimmy.
Not bad. 30.
Not bad.
Push the envelope.
I think I'm going a little long here. I haven't heard from Spence. I was just trying to drag it on yesterday. So I think we got to talk some Suns next, and who our NBA analysts Jimmy B and Dan Manucci think are going to be the next head coach. So we'll get into that next. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B from Twin Peaks in Scottsdale. It's Fox Sports 910.
On Fox Sports 910.
Booker looking to push.
You guys are hot.
The screen elevates, splash.
Well, Phoenix Suns are hoping, well, us fan base at least, hoping for the right head coach to lead this team over that hump into the NBA Finals once again. Came up short this year. A lot of great coaches available, but there are a lot of great jobs available. And we wanted to kind of dive in, spend some time on some of the coaches that are available, at least according to reports, the 5 that have been. And those 5 currently, and this is just from multiple reports, but we'll take it off of AZ Central. Doc Rivers, Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel, Kevin Young, who's the Suns assistant coach for the last 2 years, and Jordy Fernandez, if you're not familiar with him, the Sacramento Kings assistant coach, associate coach, I believe. So he is the number 2 guy there, and who worked under Mike Malone. So as you guys look at this, it's hard not to get caught up in the talk, in the noise on who might be the right fit. If you're looking at purely numbers and success, I mean, you have the first three I mentioned all have NBA championships. So they've all been there, done that. I think Doc Rivers has done it more than anyone in the sense of success because of his record. I mean, his numbers are there. He's one of the winningest coaches ever in the NBA. Nick Nurse, he came up through the ranks, right? And then Frank Vogel has got 1 title as well with the Lakers. So I'll start with you, Jimmy. Of those 5, unless you have someone else, is there? Give us your top 2.
I would, if I had to nail it down right now, I'm really interested in Jordy Fernandez and also Nick Nurse.
Okay.
So what you offered up there was a guy who has won a championship in Nick Nurse, and you referenced the fact he came up through the ranks. He won the D-League championship, then became an assistant coach with the Raptors, and then moved into the top job and won a title. So essentially, he had been with the Raptors for 10 seasons. And I think what has happened in Toronto is the guy's a little rough, he's a little tough, and
Edgy.
He's edgy.
Yeah.
And so 10 years of that, I think they felt it was time for a change. The same voice over and over for 10 years. Time to take a look at something different. Jordy Fernandez, on the other hand, is a guy who has great lineage when it comes to working with top coaches. He was an assistant with Mike Malone, who's now headed to the NBA Finals with Denver, and with Mike Brown, who is now the head coach at Sacramento, and kept Jordy Fernandez, and as you referenced, Rock, made him the associate coach, not just an assistant, but an associate coach. And he gets credit for the most part for putting that dynamic offense together that the Kings ran. So what are you looking for right now for the Suns? Well, you're looking to be dynamic offensively just because of the way the Western Conference plays. I mean, let's face it, there are a lot of teams that play a dynamic offense, and if you can't compete offensively, you're going to have no chance to make the playoffs. So consequently, that's a reason why I have interest in Fernandez. The word is very smart, very basketball smart, gets along with all the players on the team. That's what I have on him.
The one thing I think of is, who do the Suns need? Who's that guy that needs, when we look at this window of Kevin Durant for the next, 3 years, with Book, question mark with DA, is he on the team or not? CP3, probably not going to be with this team after this year, whether they keep him. So if you look at a guy that's got a tight window of what it seems though is Ishbia wants to win now, is I look at the veteran guys. I look at the Nick Nurses of the world. He's my number 1 guy just because of the been there and done that, as you say, Rock. He's won a title. I like his accountability factor on the defensive side with his team, whether it gets old or not. Because if we watch the Suns, where'd they fade? They faded big time the last 2 years on the defensive side. Obviously, I think they need another scorer or 2. But I think I like the way that he adjusts during games. Excuse me, that he makes things happen with the little amount that he has at time.
I think he can change on the fly.
He changes on the fly. He's very good. He's very adept at that. So I think for the Suns, the accountability factor, the adjustments, which I don't think we saw much adjustments at all with Monty, is the other side of that. And, guys, I don't care what anybody says. Doc Rivers, been there, done that, get you there. Maybe with the right group of guys, he can finally break through. But how do you look at a guy that's, as a player and as a coach, won 1 title, on to another one, but every year he gets in the playoffs. Maybe he learns, maybe with the right group of guys, but he'd be my second choice overall, Doc Rivers. He is just outstanding as a coach. Maybe he learns, but I think anybody, me being a long-suffering 55-year Suns fan, if you can get us to the finals and the NBA final on a year-in-year-out basis, at least close to it, I'll take it. I don't care what your record is in the NBA finals.
But, you mentioned Doc, gets to the playoffs all the time. The Suns team hasn't been – a staple of playoffs every year.
That's what I'm saying. And then
so, I think it would be nice just to get to the playoffs every year, too.
Then that's what I'm saying. On a regular basis, he gets his teams to the playoffs, which is refreshing, and hopefully gets them there to the next. I'm like, absolutely, let's take it. Yeah, we can't win it all, but still, if we're there on a year-in-and-out basis, I'm all over that.
I'm not buying it, and here's why. Because you went out and you gave away some really good players and draft picks to acquire Kevin Durant. And with Durant, and it is now, the future is right now in the next year or two, and you have to have a way to get to the finals at least. Otherwise, this trade is a bust.
That's what Doc Rivers is for. He'll get you to the finals.
He hasn't gotten to the finals. That's my point on Doc.
No, I get it. I understand it. But I'm thinking he's getting you there in the mix. And with the right combination of players.
They were in the mix with Monty. So, I mean, they went to the finals under Monty.
But my whole point is I want the veteran guys who've been there and done that.
I agree with you there, Manuch.
That with this window closing fast, to make sure you've got the best of the best that you can have to get them there.
Okay. My question to you about Doc Rivers is because Monty got fired because we saw last year with the Mavericks and this year now against the Nuggets, them losing by 25 points, a same pattern. It seems like Doc Rivers has been the same pattern with closeout games and every year in the playoffs. Does that worry you, Manuch, that it's been the same continuing thing every single year, just like it was for Monty?
It doesn't worry me as much of a guy that's gotten his team to the finals two separate times and won one. So anytime you get that, think that trumps when you say, hey, got a guy that's won one and been there another time and lost out. Sometimes I think it trumps it. Yeah, that's a concern for anybody. But I think sometimes you got to look at the players he's dealing with and how he's learned from that. So I think the only thing for the Suns fans, if they do hire Doc Rivers, that he's learned how to make that happen. But first and foremost, Nick Nurse is my guy from the get-go.
All right, let me just reference Frank Vogel quickly. We know he won the NBA title with the Lakers.
In the bubble.
But what did he do? He kept team focused the entire under severe circumstances in that bubble. Also, that particular team was similar to what we saw after all those changes during the break, and they were a top defensive team, but yet could still score. You had a younger LeBron, Anthony Davis as well.
Yeah, we're going to catch up with Howard Balzer. Talks NFL football, specifically Arizona Cardinals. Speaking of football and just to have a athlete that's trying to get to the next level, I want to talk briefly about a revolutionary scouting and platform called Scout Pro. Now, Scout US Pro is a one-of-a-kind scouting database that allows athletes to connect with professional scouts and managers from any part of the world, and it's completely free for an athlete to create his or her profile. All they have to do is upload statistics and video highlights, and they're searchable. This is a really cool app called Scout US Pro, and it's currently for soccer, baseball, boxing, and MMA apps. Now they're planning on adding sports this calendar year for other athletes looking for help to prolong their athletic career. Go to the App Store or the Google Play Store today. Download the Scout US Pro app, and you can find more information all available to you at scoutus.com. So check it out, the Scout US Pro app. More Roc and Manuch continues from the Twin Peaks in Scotland.
Sports is Arizona Cardinals lead writer for GoPHNX.com. A longtime Hall of Fame voter.
You guys are hot.
Balzer, now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Dwight Howard Balzer now joins us here on the Right to the Guest line. So, how much time did you get out there this week there, Howard? Did you get some time to check out the future of this organization?
Yeah, well, we were able to watch the entire practice on Monday, which was a good thing. And so, obviously, everyone overreacts to OTAs, and everyone's saying, "Oh my goodness, David Collins is an outside linebacker. Oh, look at the offensive line." It's one practice, and then of course we're not out there any other days. We're only allowed to be there one day a week, so it doesn't give you a total picture, but at least it gives you a pretty good idea. And so it was fun to get out there and see everybody run around for about an hour and a half on Monday.
We're seeing, you talked about it last week, it's the dog days of summer. All the pundits are putting out these stories because they're looking for content, and I saw one today that has a mock trade with Philadelphia where Budda Baker would go to Philly in exchange for a 2024 fifth round pick and a 2025 third round pick because of course Budda's not happy and he wants to get paid. Could you see, first of all, Budda getting traded? And I think the history between the Philadelphia and Arizona, they need to take a little bit of break after what happened before the draft.
Yeah, but if you find a trade partner, I don't know that would mitigate against that. But I don't know. It's always funny that they call these mock trades just like mock drafts because the one thing consistent about them all usually is that they're mockeries. I mean, they're not realistic. They're crazy. And I'm not saying that Budda Baker couldn't be traded, but trade him for fifth and a third round pick. Yeah. I mean, that's insane. That's absolutely ridiculous. And, it's not like the Cardinals aren't willing to pay him. It's just that they don't want to extend him at least up until this point, which I don't understand that. I mean, he's making a lot of money anyway. And this whole notion, and I've heard this in places where it's been reported nationally that Monty Ossenfort doesn't want to set a precedent for giving a guy in his first year, give a guy a contract that has 2 years remaining. Well, what precedent does it set? I mean, who else on this team would have any inclination or any leg to stand on to come in and say, let's negotiate my contract for 2 years, or extend it. So to me, that's what the Cardinals should do. But whether they do it or not, obviously, is another question.
All right, let's talk about the other white elephant in the room, that being DeAndre Hopkins taking a huge shot at the Cardinals organization, and then not to bemoan the fact that he says Kyler Murray's a hard-working quarterback, but I thought he set himself up pretty good with his, I'll call it non-illegal tampering by shouting out where he'd like to go. What is the team, not so much organization, but the guys in that locker room, if you had a chance to talk, think about some of that chatter come from D-Hop, pretty much sounding the alarm where he'd like to go.
Well, I mean, he's been doing that for about a month.
Yeah.
And, with all the, it's obvious the Cardinals have been talking to teams about trading him. So if that's the case, why shouldn't the player, be able to state his opinion? And, it was interesting because he kind of contradicted himself at different points. Because on one level, he's saying, well, what I want in when he's asked what do you want in my career, is I want a stable organization. Well, then he turned around and said that he's been impressed with Monty Ossenfort. And so you just wonder, which is it? What's really going on here? And so, but, he's sitting there wondering where he's going to be playing football. And there doesn't seem to be any real resolution to this, obviously, yet. And so he's just voicing his opinion. So I don't have any problem with that. But he did contradict himself, a couple times during that podcast.
Any reaction from, if you had a chance to talk to any players, reference that might have been after you guys are Monday, the podcast, but any reaction from the players, at least you can know, not only from D-Hop, not being there, but also from Buddha not being there?
No, we only get to talk to a couple of players.
Yeah.
And, the Cardinals control that, and they decide what players that, they're going to make available to us. And so it was, Monday it was Zach Pascal and Cam Thomas along with Keitrell Carter. And so, I think most guys, though, we know what they would say if we asked them. They would say, well, that's their business. That's the situation. What it is, and quite frankly, guys, the guys we're talking to and the people that are being made available, it's a very young team, right now. It's not like there's a lot of guys that have played with Buda Baker very long that are on this team. In fact, I wrote about that today on the website. They've had 8 guys since they were on the roster last season that are 30 years old or older depart the organization. Currently, they only have 7 guys on the roster that are 30 years old or more, and 2 of them are quarterbacks, and 1 is kicker Matt Prater. And so, in terms of veteran-type guys that would have most of these guys on this team are just young guys fighting and trying to win a job.
3 minutes.
I think for the most part, that's the way that, they probably look at it. And I think the Buddha situation, I think, could be instructive because to me, what you want to do as a general manager is you want to send a message to players that you play as well as Buda Baker has and be the type of player you want on a roster. We will take care of you when it comes time to do that. And so, we'll see where it goes from here.
Howard Balzer is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. Howard, when you were there, did you get a chance to take a look at the QBs? And if so, was Colt McCoy looking healthy or is he still limited? And also, did you get a chance to see Clayton Tune at all?
Yeah, the quarterbacks were all there and working out, and Kyler Murray was there on the sideline watching and paying attention to what was going on. But yeah, Colt McCoy, who did not throw
2 minutes
during the mini camp in April, was throwing and looked pretty good. Clayton Tune, throws a nice football, and so they had the 4 guys out there that were taking part in the practice. And, obviously it's mostly drills and it's a very, there's tempo to the practice. And even though in part of it, you're going against defensive players, it's obviously not real football, but, they threw the ball pretty well. And I think that, but the good thing was Colt was healthy and he's obviously going to be a guy that you would think would start to see, depending on when he's available.
Aside from that piece today, what do you put on for the weekend, Ken?
All right, well, I'm working on the weekend. Right?
Okay.
There'll be some, there'll be an OTA next week, which we'll be out there for, but there's, what I have up there today until after the holiday.
So you have a great Labor Day. Have a great. I wish it was Labor Day. Then we talking NFL.
Yeah,
but as always, Howard, appreciate your time.
All right, guys, take care.
Hey, Howard Balzer from Go PHEH, as he just does a credible job. He's been, as you heard in the open, has been covering the National Football League as long as I've been alive. That's just a tremendous job. Twitter at hbalzer721. Speaking of the NFL, Antonio Brown appears coming out of retirement.
What?
He's going to suit up and wear next as we continue with Twin Peaks Scott.
Full service law. One.
Reinhardt with 10 seconds. Close.
The last 5 seconds of regulation as the Panthers take care of the Hurricanes. That was TNT as they now wait for the winner of the Stars and the Golden Knights. And Golden Knights up 3-0. He'll go at it again tonight. So interact, need a check, make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900 and always at lernerandrow.com. Here's what's on tap. Brought to you by the Roc and Manuch Lager, which you can find at, I wish, Twin Peaks. We're going to work on that. CAZ Sports Bar and Sports Book. Also, the Tavern Grill, Arena Sports Grill, and Upper Crescent. Soon, hopefully, a place near you. We got to get out in the West Valley. We got to get out there somehow. But of course, the NBA playoffs I mentioned tonight with the Stars and the Golden Knights. But you also got the Heat and the Celtics. That'll get tip-off is at 5:30 on TNT as Miami leads that series 3-1. And you know this, the third season premiere of the Kardashians on Hulu. It's on.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
And also the season premiere, series premiere, which I really want to watch. It's called The 100 Years of Warren Brothers on Max.
Yep.
And it's narrated by Morgan Freeman. So it's a pretty cool trailer. Check it out. Myself having worked for the WB many years ago. Kind of really love that place. They put some incredible stories together, and it's a pretty cool trailer if you get a chance to check that out. I mentioned to break. And he is, of course, the former wide receiver. Just, perfect locker room guy, right?
Sure wasn't he?
Is promoting the Arena Football League. And he owns 95% of the Albany Empire. And he intends to play on Saturday against the Fayetteville Mustang. Now, we're not sure how long he's actually going to play. He did a little media hit today where he suited up during practice and took one snap. And they threw it to him, and he caught it, and that was it. He had one short route, and that was it during practice. But supposedly he is gonna play on Saturday, and they have I think a 15,000 seat arena, and they've been averaging like 2,500. So it's a total publicity.
Sure it is. Yeah,
it's a joke. There's no reason to go. Why? You see him stuff the player too.
Yeah, that's the joke. I did Albany in the old arena league.
Of course you did.
They were the other Firebirds.
Yeah, drop. You have one homework assignment. You have two homework assignments.
Yeah,
we need that drop.
Yeah, we do.
We need the Jimmy G drop whenever he talks about every time he's called. And whatever minute he's about Buffalo.
Absolutely.
Times a shot. We can one out. Yeah. So can we please get that done? He's also claiming, by the way, MVP quarterback Cam Newton. It's going to be the MVP quarterback.
For the seats, get at least 5,000 people.
It's just a blatant publicity stunt. It's just sad how our world is that people are going to buy into that, and people are going to think, "Oh my gosh, Antonio Brown is now going to be a starting wide receiver for the Empire." Shut up!
He'll take one.
That dumb.
He'll take one snap.
If that.
Yeah, if that. He'll go out
just
warm
in the
up.
practice. It was a joke.
He'll greet the fans, or he'll talk to them. He'll get the microphone and say, "Welcome to to Albany" or whatever happy type thing. But yeah, I think that his days are pretty much limited as far as indoor football league or arena football league. So with that, we'll come back with our State for You Roofing. It's your call question of the day. What is the biggest need for the Diamondbacks in order to have a chance to win the National League West? You can go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Is it a stronger bullpen, another power bat, another top rotation arm, or avoiding a major slump? As I mentioned, just go to @Roc and Manuch. You can go and
speaking of publicity stunts,
yeah,
the PGA Tour.
Yes.
We all read on freaking Michael Bach last week. Great story. I was starting to be professional today. It's a great story. Similarly, today at the Clinical, he is in last place. this. He's through 17. He's in last place by himself at 120. And at 118, there's a big tie with Zach Johnson and a bunch of other guys at 6 plus 6. So he is 3 strokes even off.
3 minutes.
Shows how great of golf he played last week and how hard it is for a PGA professional who teaches every single day but is not out there practicing like these guys to make a cut, which he's clearly not going to make.
Conditioned day in and day out.
Correct.
To make those shots.
He looks awfully tired, and I think the amount of media pressure, the fan pressure, I think it finally caught up to him. He was +2 at the end of 9. So he blew up on the back nine.
A lot of 6s and 5s on his card on the backside, unfortunately. And, you sit there and think, wow, the guy caught landing in a bottle, took advantage of it.
Yep.
So I'm just curious to see. I know he got invited to the Canadian Open. Correct. Got an exemption there. How many other PGA Tour events? UGA, the Open, should open to qualify in reference to if you want to qualify.
I think this is the cheapest sale.
I think that's pretty much
he may say, I can compete with these guys.
Next year, PGA too.
By the way, the ratings of you heard the story.
Sure.
With with Brooks Koepka being there on Sunday. But he won by 4 strokes.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate that the PGA couldn't capitalize on that, but ratings were not good.
I'm interested in the ratings for today, the opening round, because we were paying attention to it here at Twin Peaks. A lot of folks curious to see if they just wait to watch the highlights, but does it look like he's going to make the cut unless he shoots a phenomenal number tomorrow, which I doubt he probably will.
Yeah, it did on CBS on Sunday. It did 4.57 million viewers, which isn't bad, but it's the lowest since 2008. 2008.
Yeah, that story probably came and went.
And down
1 minute.
last year.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things. What a field goal, but how long does it last?
Also, I wanted to say one thing though. When you look at these ratings are based on the PGA Championship, which is normally in August. It's never in May. And I think if you would have saw what was going on with the weather, he may have just tuned out. But you would think with Koepka, capturing his 5th major title and first since 2019, I'll check in. But
people don't care about Koepka anymore. He's disappeared because of Liv.
He's got 6 o'clock off the locations, reverse happy hour. It's 10 o'clock for you right now. Toyota, we know you have
10
choices.
seconds.
We appreciate you hanging out for a few hours with us or a few minutes, whatever it is. If you missed anything, go to rockandmanuch.com. For Jimmy, Manuch, Spencer, and Jackson, Rock. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.